Donald Trump essentially told the Supreme Court to pound sand, because far from what he says is what he doesn't say. And that is nowhere in that entire meeting does the President of the United States ask the President of El Salvador to return the man wrongly sent to a maximum security prison in his country. It just never happens. The President has taken a very determined step towards dictatorship.
Does it feel like a constitutional crisis? Then a illegal alien gangbanger from El Salvador is back in El Salvador. After all the times they've declared constitutional crisis, this one's got to be the weirdest. If deporting gangbangers makes you a dictator, then I'm all in. They're now saying we shouldn't arrest gangbangers. The people who deport gangbangers, they should be arrested.
Kristi Noem, the head of the Department of Homeland Security, and Tom Homan, the head of ICE, must be arrested immediately for contempt of court. They're defying court orders to return Mr. Abrego Garcia from captivity and torture in El Salvador. It is time to teach the Trump administration a lesson.
Was Keith in a straitjacket? That was hard to say. Democrats charged Trump with 91 counts. He beat the rap, got elected, and deported an illegal to where he was born. Something almost all Americans want. But Democrats, and this is why they lost, want to charge Trump with another crime, kidnapping.
I think the attorney generals play a really important role right now. I think it's only a matter of time before one of them figures out how to file state kidnapping charges against those that are abducting people who are in this country legally and sending them to this new concentration camp that Donald Trump laughs about having created in El Salvador. Attorney generals are going to play a critically important role in these days ahead fighting this fascist moment in American history.
Just as Democrats can turn a man into a woman, they can turn deporting into kidnapping, just like that. And Senator Van Halen from Maryland is flying to El Salvador tomorrow to break the gangbanger out of jail.
So you've got a Maryland man who's the father of 3, illegally detained.
Watch what milk does to your brain. Take a look at these 2 brain scans. They both look young.
A notorious prison in El Salvador. I do intend to go to El Salvador to discuss the release of this individual who is illegally detained in El Salvador. It is absolutely unjust and illegal to have this Marylander detained one more day in a notorious prison in El Salvador.
He's a Marylander? Since when? If I break into Mexico, am I a Mexicano? No. Maryland mom, Rachel Morin, was raped and murdered by an MS-13 member from El Salvador. And Senator Van Halen is trying to spring a member from the same gang out of prison. Trump's getting gangbanged. He's a flight risk and a danger to the community. And a confidential informant tells the cops, the gang unit, that he's MS-13. And then a second judge upholds that he's MS-13. But CNN says he's just a Bulls fan.
According to court documents, Garcia and 3 other men were arrested in 2019. He was asked if he was a gang member. He said no. Garcia had been deemed a gang member by the Prince George's County Police Department in part because he was at the time wearing a Chicago Bulls hat and a hoodie.
Garcia's a Bulls fan, but he's from El Salvador, and he lives in Maryland, not Chicago. The Bulls lost 60 games in 2019, so why the hat? Can Garcia name anyone on the team? Anyone on any Bulls team besides Jordan? Everyone from El Salvador knows what it means when you wear a Bulls hat. It means you're MS-13. When you're in Compton, you don't accidentally wear red and say, oh, I didn't know red was Bloods. If you're a Latin American illegal alien in Maryland, you don't accidentally wear Chicago Bulls gear and hang around with high-ranking gangsters from MS-13. This is the reason he had to break into the country. Are you ready? A local gang in El Salvador was shaking down his grandma's tortilla shop. And his lawyers say if he gets sent back to El Salvador, he's a dead man. It's a tortilla blood vendetta. Seriously. So who are Garcia's attorneys who managed to get their client a hearing in the Supreme Court? Trump's deporting tens of thousands of illegals, and this is the only case that's gone this far. These lawyers must be good. Who are they? Well, they are good. They're the best lawyers dirty money can buy. The firms repped gang members like Aaron Hernandez and Bobby Shmurda. Aaron Hernandez was Bloods. Bobby Shmurda was GS9 out of Brooklyn. The firm also represented members of the Rosenthal Hidalgo family, traffickers, in business with the cartels. And these well-paid defense attorneys took the Garcia case. But he's definitely not MS-13. These lawyers are really making him into an innocent Maryland dad in the media, and the media is drinking the Kool-Aid.
He's an illegal immigrant. Okay. He was here illegally with deportation orders in 2019. What part of that do you not understand?
I understand the story very well, and I'm going to stop going back and forth with you on this, but I will say, again, he had every right to be in this country. Is there any scenario under which
he did
this
not.
guy...
He was an illegal immigrant.
We're going to move on this.
No, I will not let you go forward.
Okay.
He was an illegal alien in this country with a deportation order in 2019. He is an El Salvadorian citizen.
How'd the media go from the border secure to MS-13 has every right to be in this country? This is a new low, even for them.
I'm not sure what is so difficult about this for everyone in the media to understand, and it's appalling, truly appalling, that there has been so much time covering this alleged human trafficker and this gang member, MS-13 gang member. It's truly striking to me.
Democrats just lost in a landslide because they let illegal gangbangers into the country, and they're still fighting for illegal gangbangers to come into the country. Even CNN agrees he's never coming back.
You don't think this man is coming back?
I don't think he's coming back, basically ever.
Ever. Garcia's gang lawyers were in court today, begging an Obama judge to make Kristi Noem fly a gangster back to America. The Supreme Court even said these judges are out of line.
Look, they're working within the ambiguity that the Supreme Court justices gave them. They did not order the administration to return him to the United States. They said that they need to facilitate this return. They could have said, we order him returned, but they didn't do that. Yes, it does look a little bit like a semantic game, but they are playing within the bounds of what the Supreme Court ruled. So no, they are not defying this order.
James Carville, a man famous for saying it's the economy, stupid, is telling Democrats, don't talk about the economy. Fight for the rights of illegal aliens.
Sometimes you gotta on two fronts, and you can fight on the economic front, but also this is such an egregious trespass of justice that you just can't say, well, if we'll just repair to the higher ground and talk about egg prices and forget about this guy. Well, I'm not for that. I think what's happened here is a really offense against the nation. It's an offense against the Constitution. It's an offense against order. You just can't let this go.
A lot of empty bottles behind Carville there. I'm sure he had nothing to do with it. 21%. That's the Democrat Party's approval rating right now. 21%. They're defending waste, fraud, and abuse, Chinese slave labor, DEI, transgender, and illegal alien gangbangers. Trump designated MS-13 as a terrorist organization. So technically, Garcia is a terrorist. They'd rather give a terrorist the American dream than you. The American dream isn't possible without safety. El Presidente of El Salvador says it's not that he's imprisoning thousands, he's actually liberating millions. Trump says sending American bad hombres to El Salvador could help liberate millions of Americans.
He's also built one, but other also prisons, very big ones, and we're using his system because we're getting rid of our criminals from out of the United States who were allowed to come in by Biden.
Could we use it for violent criminals, our own violent criminals?
I call them homegrown criminals.
Yes.
I mean, the homegrowns. The ones that grew up and something went wrong and they hit people over the head with a baseball bat. We have, and push people into subways just before the train gets there, like you see happening sometimes. We are looking into it and we want to do it. I would love to do that.
I'm not sure that's quite legal, but Bondi says we're just going to build more prisons here. But it drives the left crazy, like flirting with a third term. And it keeps the bad hombres on their toes. This is what Trump means when he says, make America great again, or America grande otra vez. Stephen Miller is the Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy and Homeland Security Advisor. All right, Mr. Miller. Van Halen is going to El Salvador tomorrow. What do you think the chances are of him returning with a terrorist?
I judge them to be quite low, Jesse. The Senator Van Hollen seems to be under the very confused impression that this MS-13 terrorist is his constituent. He is President Bukele's constituent. He is President Bukele's citizen. He is President Bukele's resident. He is not a Maryland man. He is not a Maryland anything. He is an illegal alien from El Salvador with a deportation order from the United States.
This is a brain cell killer. This is a brain cell killer. And even this is a brain cell killer. Now, the South
is not legally even allowed to be in our country. Under the due process that these Democrats so venerate for illegal invaders, it is legally impermissible for him to have one more minute in this country. So we honored the law and obeyed the law by getting him out of this country. And if the entire Democrat Party was to work itself into a state of emotional hysteria to demand the return of illegal gang members and terrorists to our shores, then that 21% will soon be 15, and then it'll be 11, and then all they'll have left is the support of actual confirmed MS-13 members, and that will be the entire base of the Democrat Party.
But Miller, he's wearing a Bulls hat. I mean, he was just a guy from El Salvador, huge Bulls fan, and that's the only thing they have on the guy.
Yes, it was an elaborate conspiracy from the Prince George's County Police Department to label him correctly as an MS-13 gang member so that President Trump would then deport him 10 years later. The simple reality is that the police said he was an MS-13 gang member. One immigration judge said he was an MS-13 gang member. ICE said he was an MS-13 gang member. Another immigration judge said he was an MS-13 gang member. And his president, who is not Donald Trump, his president is Bukele, says that he is, again, a confirmed MS-13 gang member. Everyone who knows anything about MS-13 has said that he is a member of that organization. And this hoax. So, Jesse, we've all seen every time an illegal alien commits a crime, what is the Wire story? AP Reuters, what does it always say? Cleveland man shoots innocent person. Ohio man shoots innocent person. Right? Los Angeles man. And they're illegal aliens. They never, ever admit that the people that are committing these crimes, that are joining these gangs, that are here in our country, are illegal aliens.
No, but Miller,
imagine writing a header for a news story that says, Trump deports illegal alien from El Salvador to El Salvador. Not exactly a news story, Jesse.
But he's a dad. And once you become a dad, you're automatically out of any gang possible. I didn't know if you knew that, but legally it vacates the gang membership once you father children. Let me ask you this, because these lawyers who represent traffickers
Jesse,
and
no
who represent
gang members anywhere in the world have children. None do. Not El Chapo, not anybody. There are no members of any criminal gang anywhere on planet Earth who have ever had a child. So it's a good fact to know, Jesse.
Real quick, the lawyers who represent traffickers and gang members say that he was supposed to be deported anywhere else except El Salvador. You could have sent him to Russia.
Yes, correct. Well, so this is what's so bizarre about Democrats' plea. And so he has this thing. So he has a deportation order, and then he has this plea for withholding, which means don't send me to El Salvador, send me somewhere else. Now, the withholding order was invalid because he's a foreign terrorist. He's a member of an FTO, which means that there can't be a withholding order. And it's also invalid because the gang that he said was going to persecute him, the 18th Street Gang, doesn't exist in El Salvador. There is no 18th Street Gang. So for two reasons, it's completely invalid. But let's just say we wanted to honor it. We're going to say, okay, fine.
Yeah.
We're going to honor your request not to live in El Salvador. That means he could be sent to Haiti. He could be sent to Yemen. He could be sent to Syria. I mean, those are all the options on the table under his plea. Bottom line is this, Jesse. There are American moms and American dads, actual American citizens, who have suffered and been brutalized and been murdered by Joe Biden's illegal aliens, the Democrat Party's illegal aliens. Our tears, our sympathy, our empathy are reserved for actual American moms and dads, not the invaders, Jesse.
Yep. We only have so many tears, and we all know men don't cry. So we have to use these tears judiciously, Miller. Good to talk to you. See you soon.
Thank you.
To see Rachel Campos Duffy's full interview with Trump, you can go to noticias.foxnews.com.